All right. Well, I have a John Deere 170, and lately it's been doing, well, it's been hard to start. And sometimes it would start and run maybe 5 minutes and then poof, it would cut off with little to no spark, right? I'm going to check it out, and usually it's something like that. You know, you go directly and check the spark plug, check the magneto and all that good stuff. And this one, it's a John Deere 170 with a Kawasaki engine, and it still had that little igniter on it. So those seem to be prone to going out, right? So I don't know, we'll start from there, and then I'll make sure that there's no safety switches involved, nothing shorting out, something like that. So we just need to troubleshoot this thing. So let me show you what I got. Alright, so there she blows. It's a John Deere 170, 38-inch cut. You can see it has that Kawasaki FC420V engine, and they're usually pretty nice engines, pretty nice mower altogether. I really like it. But you can see here's the little igniter. Now this is an aftermarket one. And I know I had already replaced the magneto about a year ago, I guess. And now it's like it just doesn't want to, give any spark at all. So I'm going to go up here and I guess we can test out the igniter. I don't know what spec is supposed to be, how many ohms when I read it out. I'll probably look online and... Well, this is an aftermarket though, right? So I know what the factory one's supposed to be, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe that thing's burned out or something like that. But this one has 2 poles on it, when the original only had 1 pole, and it's grounded through the case. I guess let's take some readings on it real quick just to see what it's doing. All right, so can you see my multimeter there? Alright. Let's get that over to ohms. Alright. And let's take this off and take a reading from here to the case. Seems like it's all over the place, around 11.5 up to, there's 12, that's mega ohms now. Let's see, I wonder what it is pole to pole. Well, there it's reading 4.47 kilo ohms, and let me compare that to what I find online. Yeah, so I found this online, and it's saying, let's see, from the case to the terminal there. Oh, let me get this put away. Yeah, there it is. So from the case, positive, terminal, negative. Should be 1 to 5 ohms. It's kind of all over the place though. And then here, the case to the terminal. Well, and that's mega ohms too. Yeah, so this thing, it's not really reading. That's 4.33 kilo ohms. So maybe with this one, it's supposed to be, you know, say if it's one side, because on the factory one, it's grounded on the case. With this one, it might be, you know, one side's positive, one side's the negative, and it was reading 4 point something kilo ohm, or was that right? Hang on. Yeah, 4.3 kilo ohms. Which that would be in spec if it was measured that way. So yeah, it's hard to tell with this thing, with the aftermarket one. But what I'm going to do, let's try to crank it and see what happens. So it didn't sound like that's doing anything at all. And I can smell the gas. I know it's getting gas. Now this little plug, let's see if that registers as a ground. Let me put it on this. Guess I'll just sandwich it in there. I'm probably in your way. Doesn't sound like anything. I'm sure I'm going to take the spark plug off here in a minute so we can see if it's a weak spark or a strong spark or whatever. I'm just going to, I switched these terminals around. Don't know if that's going to make any difference. That is strange. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take the spark plug off. Yeah, see, the spark plug is wet. It sure is black there, so whenever it was running pretty rich. I think because it was just flooded, you know. Let's put this up against here and see if we can see a spark. Alright, keep your eye open here. Well, I see a spark there. Awesome. Now I wonder, I'm going to check the compression real quick. If that's getting spark like that, it should be firing off. Alright, let me get this on here. I'm probably going to be in your way here for a second. I'm in tight quarters. Let me get this on. it does. Yeah, about 75. That should be enough, don't you think? So for a long shot, I am going to... See, I had jumped the gun and I went and got one of these igniters online. I thought for sure that was the problem without even testing anything. So if it's wasted money, well, it's, I forget how much it was, 12 bucks. But it's always something, you know. It's, I jumped the gun and bought it before I tested everything, you know. But when I looked, I could tell this one is this one's a lot more closer to the original one. Yeah, see, it even fits in that little slot, just like the original should. So let's get, and it has the single pole and grounded through the case. Maybe it'll get a better spark. I don't know. There we go. Now that looks factory, right? Might as well get that off of there. Alright, let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay, so as you can see, I switched over to this other igniter. They're both doing the same thing. I just want to show you. And just watch the spark. There's spark there, but it's an orange spark. There's plenty of them. It's orange. I'd rather see the bright blue. You know what I mean? Can you see that? I guess I'm going to dig down and look at the magneto. Like I said, I'd replaced it about a year ago. And this is interesting. Let's disconnect this again. Disconnect that from here. So this is going straight from the magneto and it's not touching anything else. Now I want to look at the resistance. Say if this is positive and this is essentially hooking the negative onto that tab on the magneto. 12.33 kilo ohms. So I'm going to look and see if that is within spec. Alright, so there's the magneto. So let's do some quick tests. I jotted down some notes online. We can see how these test out. Okay, let's unplug that. Let's unplug this. So let's check the primary. So from A to C, A is from this terminal where the little kill wire goes to the core, which is one of these poles here. Oop. Can you see that? Let me put it up here. Yeah. Come on. Getting kind of windy out here. So from this pole to the core, .8 ohms. And it's showing it should be between 0.48 and 0.72. What was that? 1.8? So it's already out of spec. .8. The max should be 0.72. Let's look at the secondary. So from the plug lead, from here over to the core again, 12.44. Before I think I read 12.3, but that's close. 12.4, and the range is 10.9 to 16.3. So the secondary is in spec. The primary is out of spec. Could that be the problem? I mean, I guess so. I mean, it's getting a spark, but it's weak because the primary coil is out of spec. It's too much resistance on it. Well, that kind of sucks. I mean, because I went through and was testing everything else. This really, I was bypassing this the whole time because this is only a year old, and I might have used this tractor 3 times last year. So this thing, oh well, that could be the problem. So I guess I will get, I don't have a replacement. I guess I will get another one. We'll check the specs on it before I even install it, just to make sure, because these are aftermarket parts. They're not OEM parts or anything. So I think the aftermarket I can probably get for 30 to 35. An OEM piece would probably be 80 to 90, something like that. But okay, well, I'll get one in. It'll probably take a day or two, but we'll continue when it gets here. All right. Well, the magneto came in, and remember on these, that spark plug cap comes separately, but you can still test this out, because I think what was out of spec was the primary coil, which is the positive here. Can you see that on the multimeter there? So the positive there, and then over to this terminal. I'm getting a good connection here. And let's see what we got. Oh, it's 1.6. Is, I think it's identical to this one, isn't it? .1.9. This one's 1.6. But according to the specs we saw on I found online, this is out of spec also. You know, doesn't that suck? And here, .13.1. This one was actually what, 12.4, something like that, kilo ohms. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be any difference, right? So I was going to try to mount this new one on, but if you take a close look, these mounting holes are slightly off, so the only way I can get the mounting screws on, it's butt up against the flywheel, right? I can't, there's no room for me to back off any and get the proper gap. You know, I could try to drill these out. Be enough to give me that little extra play on it, but testing, it's, you know, they're almost identical. This one is not any better than that one that's on there, so I don't think we'll get a stronger spark. So I think I would rather send this back rather than try to alter the mounting holes, knowing that the ohm level, the resistance levels are the same. So, alright, I'm back. It's been a few days, but in that time, see, that's a new plug. So I went and got the whole new setup. The new magneto coil and the new tip. So, I want to check this first. Let's see what resistance this tip gives. Can you see that there? Hmm, 0.1. Let's see, was that 0.1 ohms? 0.1. Let's get this one off. Wouldn't that be something if it's this tip the whole time? Let's see, there's that. And that. Ooh, 4.91, so there was a big difference. This was reading 4.91, this was reading 0.1. So, that might be the problem the whole time. Which one was which? This one's the high one. Set that up there. Why am I having such a hard time with this? One of those days, you know, sometimes. I'm not seeing anything. Alright, we got all that on there. So this time I'm going to switch over to this new one, the igniter. Just out of curiosity, I'm just trying different combinations of components. Don't know if it's going to make any difference. That's on, that's on. Everything is on. Let's see if we can get a spark. nothing. Last but not least, let's put on the other magneto. All right. It's all on. Let's get the spark plug on here. Let's see if we finally get a spark, huh? Yes! A good strong spark. Hallelujah. So what was it? Just all new components. I don't know if the other one's going to work like this one did, but it's a new igniter, a new coil, and a new plug cap. And it looks like that's going to do it. Let's put this together real quick, get everything out of the way, and we'll crank it up. Out of curiosity, I want to see what the readings are now with all the new stuff on it. .05 kilo ohms. And from there to there, it's like 2.1. Wait, let me disconnect that real quick. .4. Okay, so that's strange. Strangest thing. Seemed like everything was in spec individually, but it was a combination of putting everything on there that really made the difference. I don't see, I've never had that happen before. Alright, I think I got everything out of the way. Everything is battened down. Let's see if it'll give us a crank here. Yeah. Well, all right, that got it. That was the weirdest thing. It's getting a good strong spark now. It cranked right up. And it was the strangest thing when I was checking everything out. I mean, I guess the biggest difference was the spark plug cap on there. It did show significant difference on the resistance readout. Now, the coil themselves, they were pretty close. I mean, they were, I would say they're within spec, right? But I guess it was and even the igniter, they were varying in resistance, but each one, I would say they're in spec, right? Maybe not the igniter, but it was it just had me confused. Everything seemed like individually they were within spec, but when I started trying different combinations of stuff, well, we found the combination. It ended up being all the new components, right? The new igniter, the new coil, and the new spark plug cap. And the coil that was on there, it's only about a year old, you know, and it seemed like it was still in spec, but this made the difference. So we got a spark, and it is running. So I guess I'll call it quits for this video. I haven't put everything back together yet, but you know, I'll show you that in the very near future. So be sure to subscribe and watch for the next video. And the next video will be interesting. I'll show you a little clip of what happened after I got it started. All right, so stay tuned. Oh, what happened there? It just quit. Alright, what happened, guys?